Hello and welcome to episode 5 of our Timberborn 1.1 Timberpunk 2 playthrough here, where somehow we have still survived into Cycle 5, Day 3. Let's hit pause. We're going to take a look at a couple of things before we move forward because I honestly have no clue how we have not had a wipe yet, because so many things have gone wrong and I've made so many dumb mistakes. But I wanted to talk about this crater a little bit before we get too much further. There's no more bad water that's going to be able to come in here until this bad water source activates. We don't know when that's going to be, but currently it's dormant. So I think since everything is already dead, if we have extra beavers, we probably should have at least one pumping this deep water pump, because there's still going to be some amount of clean water. We won't know how much unless we're able to build either a contamination sensor, which is 400 science that we don't have, or, let's not forget, we also have the legacy stream gauge, which will tell us contamination. But again, that's 150 science, which we don't currently have, and probably isn't the best thing for us to be spending science on, if we did. But we already have these here, so there's no harm in having this set as an extra job, just so we can get a little bit more water. A good point was also brought up that this river is not entirely bad water. It is mostly bad water. But we take a look up here. We have a bad water source, which obviously that's bad water. And we have two of these things, but they're not the same. This is a clean water seep. This is a bad water seep. And they're unfortunately right next to each other. So I don't know that we're ever going to be able to fully separate these, just because of, you know, how this works. But this does mean there is at least a little bit of clean water coming in here. Again, don't know how much because we can't measure the contamination. But that does mean we could, in theory, put in one of these deep water pumps, or maybe a couple of them, and get a little bit of extra water. But the biggest thing that we had not even bothered messing with because we were in, you know, panic mode, chickens running around with their heads cut off, is it's a stream. It's free real estate, free water, whatever, free energy. So we've got the ability. It actually looks like we could get a decent amount of power out of this during bad tides, during temperate seasons, so on and so forth. So when the time arises where that makes sense, we should take advantage of it. We do have the geothermal engine, which has been completed. We're in the process of moving our other refinement and stuff down here. And as of now, this aquifer drill is receiving not all of the power that it needs, but a decent bit to try and get some clean water in here. This will allow us to get all the way up to where this unstable core is, which we don't know when that's going to go off. But right now, it's not even, you know, in the warning zone. So I think might be a good idea for us to come over here, since we have the levees unlocked now, put in this, which is going to need, I think, a little bit of help from a path. Yeah, and that's going to allow us to get this to fill up, as far as I know. Yeah, there's nowhere else for water to go. We can get this filled up to 2 blocks high, which will give us maybe a little bit more irrigation range, but most importantly, give us more reserve from which to pump with this. And one pump is not going to be enough. As you can see, we're already way low on water. Beavers are also thirsty. So, yeah, I'm going to have to find another spot to put one of these things that's going to make sense, and we might not be there just quite yet. So, in keeping with what I was saying earlier, I am going to turn this water pump back on. Since everything is dead over here and nothing matters anymore, I'm going to get rid of these paths and relay them in a slightly less stupid configuration. Just know that that's always something I want to do. As I put my fingers on the wrong buttons. It's just not something that is frequently easy to do, given, you know, everything that's happening around here. So this farmhouse can get removed. I do want to keep this path separated here so I can put maybe one of these fermenters right there. But we don't need these weird paths snaking around everywhere. I'm not going to worry about connecting these right now because it doesn't matter if we're pumping from here, here, or here. It's still going to be the same water. So for right now, we can leave that alone. This is not really a necessary thing at this exact moment. But again, there's nothing keeping us from, you know, slightly reorganizing all of this. So all we got to do is just have this go straight across like it has been in the past. Just a little bit cleaner. And that way, if and when we get this fixed and put in more aquifer pumps and everything, then that's going to be just a little bit easier to mess with. So for what this is right now, I think this is still okay. Probably is not a bad idea, especially since this hasn't even been close to finished. Might as well continue straightening some of this stuff up, but the one that makes the most sense, in my humble opinion, is to just get that straightened out here so we can get up here. And then as we, you know, evolve some of this stuff, just get that cleaned up a tiny bit. And probably redo a bunch of this. We will see. I do still want to get power routed over to this aquifer where we don't have to have it be manually run with the beavers on the beard wheel. And right now, the only real way to do that would be to cut through farmland and put in a bunch of platforms, which, again, don't want to spend the resources on. Or we would have to run some sort of something and then put stairs to go up on top. We did talk about that just a little bit. But the way I see it now is, on hard mode, you're only ever going to have 8 days of temperate cycle as a maximum. And right now, having 4 beavers run to get clean water is probably not the worst thing we could do to use labor. So all that being said, where are we now? Well, we have no water in the breeding pods because, obviously, we do have some berries remaining down here in the berry hoard. We have 38. I do not want the beavers to eat this. So, seeing how there's no water going in here and they do have all of the berries, we have 4 kits and we have 11 adults. Of those 11 adults, a decent amount of them are very thirsty or hungry, and some could even be old enough to be considered close to death. So we're not really in a great spot in that regard. Not in a great spot in this regard, but it could always be worse. I'm going to disconnect this so they're not tempted to go grab any more berries unless they're already on their way, and then that's not going to stop them. But we do need a fermenter. We do not, however, have to have the fermenter connected to this power wheel because we have this. So it's not going to matter if this is perfectly centered. I'm not going to spend time worrying about it. Instead, I'm just going to say, let's build another fermenter right here, set it to fermented cassava, and then we will, of course, have to have storage that actually makes sense. And I suppose now is as good of a time as any to get that popped in. So, that should help. It's not going to be perfect, but that should help where we are. We've got rubble here that looks like that's just logs. We might as well get that prioritized to get cleaned up. I know we've got some over here. And I can't remember if I got anything else that I demolished. Probably not. This, of course, is more logs. I could theoretically cheese it and let them, you know, push this over here. I'm not going to do that. This is not accessible with a path, so I know we just spent all this time talking about, oh, we don't have to have paths run the same way they've always been run. We can actually now. So it's fine. It's fine. We don't need to worry about it. I just need them to come over here and take care of that. So, very long story short, I say 10 minutes in. I probably will put a time skip thing at the beginning of this episode if I remember, just so people don't have to sit through this if they don't want to. I think we're going to be okay. Not great, but okay. Let's unpause. It's also worth noting, there's something I was thinking about. Yeah, there's a gap over here that if we peel down does have extract water. Somewhere else, yeah, here it is. Pine resin and treated planks that we could get relatively easy access to. But I also noticed there's a bad water seep here. We do not know when that is going to become undormant, but that's not going to be a terribly difficult one to seal up if we come in from the side here. We'd only have to have 2 levees and a platform to get this neutralized. I think we're going to definitely want to do that. I did take a little bit of time before hitting record to look around the map based on what is currently coming in and what I foresee being a near-term issue. Again, I don't know exactly when all this is going to come off. But, okay, we're actually completely out of food. I do have to get somebody in here. I was going to try to, you know, talk about all this stuff and get some smart stuff rolling here, but now I'm just kind of out of beavers. Okay, someone's pumping there. I'm going to take these beavers out of here because I do have raw cassava. And there's not really anything that's... Yeah, let's pause that. I know you guys want me to finish what I was telling you. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. That's up to you. But I do need to absolutely have a beaver in here, and I do need to absolutely have this being pumped as fast as possible so that we can get this filled up. What was I going to say? See, now I forgot. I think I was talking about things coming into the bowl, but I don't think, based on what I currently know, that it's going to be a huge problem in the near term for us to just stick around down here where we already have, even if it's not great, access to water and some farmland and a few other things, still some trees to cut down before we have to worry about planting, so on and so forth. So all that being said, and I know there's varying opinions on all this, and some of you are very passionate about your stance on those things, but I think we probably just need to try to stay down here, with the exception of getting to this large thing of water, because that is definitely something we should aspire to get connected to sooner rather than later. I'm not going to try to evacuate the bowl until it becomes absolutely necessary, and we might not even make it that far, folks. It is very possible that we do not make it that far. We also need more medical beds. That is probably pretty important. Maybe a little bit more important than putting this levee here, but I do, for the time being, only have a single builder. We can add it to the queue, and I probably should pick a slightly better location than right here. But I don't really have one. So I'm just going to put 2 more of those there. I did have a thought. I don't know when these are going to go off. I really hope it's not soon. But I want to check, because, you know, this map has hidden enough stuff for me already. This might have already gone active, and I just don't even know it. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, all right. Who cares? It's 126 days. We got time. I saw that flashing, and I was like, ooh, no, this is bad. But 126 days in hard mode is at minimum, assuming the maximum length. It's like 4 cycles. And on cycle 5, we're not going to get maximum anything. So this might not be a problem until like cycle 11 or 12, depending on how things scale, if we get more droughts or more bad tides, because those do have separate count up timers. So, you know, eventually this is going to be a thing we have to worry about, but for right now, I don't think it's that big of a deal. We do have some fermented cassava. As long as these guys can stay fed and stay hydrated, we will be okay. I meant to check and see how fast this was pumping out. It might not actually be that good of a thing. Is the beaver working in here on a debuff? Oh, yes. Okay. That's a problem. When the beaver who's pumping water is on a debuff for hunger, you are not going to be in any manner of goodness here. Let's see, 11 out of 15 are thirsty, or not thirsty, are satiated. See, I don't want to prioritize this if I don't have to, but there's 200 water here. And the other stuff that's getting built, I mean, this is kind of important, this levee, but we also haven't pumped enough for this to be a thing. Seeing how we're kind of in a situation where building is important, I am going to temporarily pause this power wheel. As possible, on the dawn of day 4, we will get that notification that we're about to have a drought or a bad tide, but for now, this is already almost as high as it can be anyway without this being built. That would allow me to have extra beavers working as builders. I'm going to put one more as a builder, which we won't know until dawn how they're going to divvy all that up. But I absolutely... No, actually, hold on. I need one beaver in here working so the furniture can operate, because that is a very important thing. I was thinking about maybe, depending on how this goes, putting another beaver over here in one of these pumps. Yeah, this isn't very fast. It's just not fast. Okay, so more are hungry, more are thirsty. Oh, the berries are just so important, but I should really save that as a very last resort type of thing. I have cassavas that can be taken care of. I really want this to be done. I really want this to be done. These are going to injure beavers, which is suboptimal to say the least. But I kind of can't get around it. I can slightly reorganize this so that this is no longer going to be an obstacle. But I do need to get that out of the way. That's unavoidable. Yeah, that's probably about the best I can do. Seeing that we have so many beavers who are hungry, I really kind of don't have a choice. I need to get them down there eating the berries because this is... Yeah, it's going to be at least another 14, 15 days. And we're... Oh, I have a contaminated beaver, of course. I should probably, you know, send him to the farm upstate because I can't cure him. Alright, how many do I have in here? Is it like 30-something? 35. Like, I'm kind of hesitant to do this. Okay, has this beaver already been assigned? So I don't want them eating out of my my stash here. Yeah, okay, well, sucks to suck, I guess. That's horrible. Let's get this hooked up. I need these beavers to eat so that they can actually fulfill their duties in a manner that's not going to be just stupid. But that did, unfortunately, knock out all of our berry reserves. It is what it is. Survival of what's already here is more important than having the babies ready to go. We do have 4 kits. Like, we're okay. Long term, we're not, but short term, we're okay. And there are, if I'm not mistaken, a few other places we could possibly get to where it would not be incredibly stupid. They're just kind of far away. Yeah, so this is only 20%. Okay, I am going to have to pause the aquifer drill just so this can make enough food. Probably. Yeah, see, now I've got them doing too much. I don't know. I honestly don't know that there's much more merit in pumping here if we're not getting anything out of it, and I have so few beavers who can actually work. This is the vacant job, so we don't actually have a vacant job. We have 1 extra beaver. I've got these guys doing that. I literally just need them to come out and take this, and then this, and this. Well, actually, this all needs to be prioritized. That's just how it goes. Getting to this water would be huge. It would be very, very, very helpful. Now, see, my 1 extra beaver, I suppose I should just have in the farmhouse because I do need to get these cassavas. That is kind of not optional. We did not get our warning on day 4, which means on day 5 or day 6 is going to be when that happens. Metal parts we still don't need. Like, what's the closest berry bush? 76? This one, okay, 85. Assuming we can actually keep this irrigated. It is virtually impossible, theoretically, for this to become contaminated, short of this thing activating and then having like a 1-day timer. There is water down here. Not impossible for us to get this. Not going to be super fast. Someone did leave a good comment, maybe in a couple of episodes, that this would be probably a better thing to try and fill up with a dump than anything else. I'm kind of tempted to agree. There's no outlet or inlet for this, so there's no real danger of this being contaminated, unless, of course, this decides to activate, which we don't know when that's happening. Alright, so we managed to keep the beavers alive by feeding them the rest of the berries at the expense of fast reproduction. But I think that was probably a decent choice. Getting more logs here is good. We do need them. But I think at this point I probably... Okay, what are they even building, first of all? What is this? You're just carrying logs? Where are you carrying these logs to? You're just putting them in storage? Or are you... Okay, they're going into... They're going to the district center, which is a strange place to put those, because I know I've got log storage somewhere. Okay, well... Okay, they started working on this. We have 3 injured beavers. Alright. I'm going to make the executive decision to speed up building the medical beds, because that is definitely a necessary thing. I know we still have homeless beavers. This is 40 logs. We kind of need other stuff a little bit more. I know this is probably driving you insane seeing this going and nothing attached to it, but I literally cannot build this if half of my workforce is injured. I need them to not be injured. This beaver who's in here is almost no longer injured. But the injury is only going to continue getting worse. Alright, are you... Okay, at least this beaver does not have slower working speed. At least we have that. Just need this to get pumped more and more and more so we can get these beavers de-thirstified. That'd be fantastic, please and thank you. Okay, so day 5 did not have the warning, which means day 6, which means we get the maximum temperate cycle, which is great news for us. Because we got to get more water, and we absolutely need to take care of that. This is... Of course the beaver who's working here has the debuff. Of course, that's always how this works. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be worth putting another beaver in. I probably need to put a pump in here. But some genius, I won't tell you who that was, put the blueberries in the deepest part that's accessible, and now I can't really get anything in another good spot without building a bunch of nonsense. I could put another pump here. This has another day and a half. Probably don't want to mess with that too much. Does this beaver also have the debuff? No. That's good at least. Except now, are they even in there working? Yes, okay. We've got enough for 50 fermented cassava that's already in here. That's good news. We have plenty that can be harvested. This beaver, unfortunately, is thirsty. Oh, where can I even put anything in here? I can't. I really screwed myself over with this. I could remove the farmhouse and then put a pump here. That's not really gonna work. Probably, honestly, the only viable thing I can see is to just do one of these numbers here and just rush putting a second pump in, because nothing's going to get done. Nothing is going to get done whatsoever. I don't have a reasonable way to solve this. Okay, which one's going off in 5 days? This, which is going to combine this with this and flood this entire cavern. Yeah, and that's going to come up to... It's actually not that much, because that gets blocked off. There's no passages anywhere, because I was going to be kind of concerned if we couldn't get into this. Okay, Badwater Seep. I really got to be careful with these. Which one is that? Oh. This one. Okay, okay, 6 days. I can't get back in here. This is already not great, because that's up. That's not going to get stopped unless I put something here, but I can't get in here. This is all impassable natural dams. For this to actually be stoppable, I would have to have a big wall in here, and I don't necessarily want that, nor can I really build it. So that's going to create some problems. This is going to come through here. It could possibly flood, depending on how strong that is. Okay, yeah, this is just going to have to be... This is also another thing, like I can't build multiple things at once. It just doesn't work when you only have a couple of beavers, and I know it's never going to be a popular thing, because no matter what I do, it's not going to be what people want to see. Just bear with me. That's all I can ask you to do. all you can reasonably do. But we have to, absolutely critically, have to... Okay, and it's a bad tide, of course it is. Absolutely critically must have this set up so we can pump more water. And we have to have beavers running on this, by the way. They still haven't done this? Come on, dude. It's 24%. This is not rocket surgery. Come on. Get it together. Of course, now I don't have any injured beavers because I fixed that at least. But, man, okay, I've got extra beavers. I can't do anything with. That means turn this on. That means turn this on. Get as much as we possibly can. The food will still be good, but we have to have this taken care of. There's no hope of this being finished. But since it's a bad tide and it's only, what, our second, it shouldn't be super long. So as long as we have enough water to pump out of here and keep the beavers alive so we can, you know, try again, because that's apparently what we're at right now. Picking up these logs is not the most important thing anymore, so don't do that. At least we did, you know, we had what we had. This is draining. There's water in here, by the way, which we can get to once this completely drains out. This is at 70% filling up. That's fine. This is at 70% making fermented cassava. That's fine. This is pumping. That's fine. Better than nothing. Average well-being is up to 2. We only have 2 hungry, 2 thirsty. How many Fast and Furious movies have they made at this point? It's got to be just some ridiculous quantity. I thought Too Fast, Too Furious was a really clever play on words, but I digress. How close are we here? 98%. Okay, so we're 12 days and change away from having berries, which will help us get some more beavers brewing. I wonder if this one, since it's past 80%, which I think it's, I think 80% is one of the cutoffs where it has to be resupplied. I wonder if this is going to allow us to have another beaver before it has to have more berries. This one definitely not, this one definitely not, this one definitely not. But we have to be making some sort of progress with that, right? Okay, we need to audit these beavers. Where are they going? You are going where? You're going up here to remove this. I'm so glad we're spending all of our labor doing that when it takes 800 years. What about you? Okay, you are dehydrated. Well, have you tried not being dehydrated? Please and thank you. What about the third beaver? You are going where? Oh, they're building... Okay, I kind of can't be mad because I did tell them to build this, but this is just not the most important thing we could be building right now. Honestly, I've got 20... how close is this to being done? I really should pause this so we can get as much water as possible out of this thing here. Okay, we got more of these berry bushes at maturity now. They're going to be growing berries, which is going to take time, but we're looking better. Looking better. I think it's probably as soon as this gets to 100%, I need to pause this. There. I need these guys to pump more water, and I need these beavers to be able to go and do more stuff. They're still taking care. I do not remember this being this slow. And this one doesn't even have a debuff. I'm just dumb. All right. Come on. Get this done. 100%? All right, good. Trees are so much faster. And then at this point, I only have 2 more sets of thorns to get rid of. This might end up saving our butts. 212 water up here. If we can't pump or run out of water to pump during the bad tide, drought, etc. Getting food processing put on this is just, it's going to help so much. Something we should have done a long time ago. There's a lot of things we should have done a long time ago. Let's be abundantly clear on this. But, you know, not much else we can do. This bad water seep is causing me a considerable amount of concern, and knowing that this is a bad tide is also causing me a significant amount of concern. Is there any way I can get beavers in here? These natural dams are going to have to be removed. This is in bad water. That is not going to work. That is going to be extremely bad. But is there anything else going to empty out in here at some point? I know we've got a lot of bad water. We've got gears. We've got metal blocks. I just need to get one levee in here. It's not happening in 5 days. Let's be very clear on that. That's dormant still. And if I were going to put in anything here, it would have to be 3 blocks tall. So that is really not viable. Is there any other way into this? No, it is a completely enclosed thing. Well, being a seat, it probably doesn't have a crazy high source pressure. Even so, it is still going to cause significant concern. But the good news with that is it's going to provide us with more power if there's more stuff coming through here. And this isn't high enough currently to be a problem. Currently, get it? However, bad tide drain. And there's other bad tide drains, and there's probably going to be a lot of pressure and maybe a little bit of overflow, so we may need to do some strategic demolition of tiles to try and preserve things. Okay, 34% there. I think I've got an extra beaver. Yes, I do. Okay, you can work in the farmhouse. Let's get this rolling here. 3 days until that unstable core goes off. Nothing I can do about it. We did make a baby beaver, so that's fine. That can just stay there for the next 12 days, I guess. 58%, 37%, 76%. This one is probably about to stop and say it can't get refueled at 80%. I think that's when that happens. And... Yep, okay. But we're out of food now, and I need to get this turned back on. This has gotten pretty close. I guess they are, for better or for worse, going to work on this levee anyway, despite this being a little bit less of a priority. But having this one finished means I can safely pause this, have a beaver working here, because this won't take any more power away from the wheel. Remember, we are going to slowly move all of our industrial stuff down here, too. We just have to, you know, make sure the beavers can survive first. That is kind of a big deal. Take that away. I can't have a direct path here to here because of reasons, although I could just, it's only going to cut off like 6 or 7 tiles worth. It's not really that big of a deal. They're still coming to get these logs. Or these logs, I guess. These guys in here, probably having them on planting is fine because we still have raw stuff that hasn't been processed. But I'm more interested in, yes, very good, in getting this connected. I have 2 things of thorns. It's going to injure some beavers. But if we get that water, we're going to be in so much better shape. Because then I don't have to have this quite so taken care of. Alright, this is about to overflow here. I'm going to prioritize this levee. I know they're in the process of working on this, but we do have cassava now. So, or storage for cassava, rather. So, you know, it's slow, and I know it's very slow, frustrating progress if you can, you know, analyze all the stuff in hindsight on a video versus me figuring it out in real time. But we're getting there. It's getting better. If I can get these remaining 6 logs, and I don't think it's likely, but I can have 1 full day to pump even just like another 25% of a tile. That's going to make a big difference. Because you know it's not going to be a quick thing. I don't even have to say it. Beaver died tragically. Oh, that was the one who starved to death over here. We knew that was happening. I'm not going to say it's fine because objectively it's not, but it's fine. 12% of 12. See, if we could keep this filled up this much, we'd have so much more space for growing stuff. I do not want to plant any more berry bushes because this is already the maximum extent of what was waterable here. We'll get there. We'll get there. It's going to be okay. Got 8. I've got 2 logs here. I have 3 logs remaining, and I know I've got some more on the ground they will go pick up. I've got 4 beavers working. Theoretically, they're supposed to be doing this as well. But this isn't as mission critical now because we do still have 89. I know that's basically nothing. But it's going to be okay. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be okay. we are, contrary to popular belief, not that bad off. Alright, dawn of the final day. That Badwater seep may end up being a problem, but again, there's not really much we can do about it. Get this finished. Okay, now I'm down because I don't have enough logs. They will go and grab at least one or two. They have to take it all the way across creation to, you know, stick it in a hole so they can take it right back out. Bureaucracy. Just do me a favor and get this finished, please and thank you. So I know they're still pumping and most of it's going where it doesn't need to be going. Alright, good. Now they have, what, another 4 hours to pump a tiny, tiny, tiny bit more in here. But that could make all of the difference to have all that in there. You never know. So we're still at least 10, 11 days, most likely 11 days from having blueberries. We're running low on kits, but we do have one of these locked at 80, one of these locked at 60, and one of these I probably should have locked at 40, but it said locked at 39, and then this one's locked at 0. So we're not, you know, 5 or 6 days away from having another beaver baby pop out. But we're not looking terrible in that regard. We probably should put another farmhouse in. I do kind of want to reorganize a bunch of this. Now that we have warehouses and we have the ability to get more wood, probably not in a horrible spot. Both of these are... Why is this one getting done first? I mean, I guess I shouldn't complain because I did literally ask them to do this. But I guess it's fine. Getting this water is really going to help us out a lot. Farming is going to continue being fine. I, once again, will have 4 beavers available because I don't have to tend this during a bad tide. Barring, you know, a cataclysmic increase in bad water volume, which is entirely possible, we might be in decent shape. But that is, you know, it's about all we can really do. And now there's not anything else. We did, I mean, I guess we got like another 10% of a height here. It's fine. Let's get that paused. Everything else that needs to be paused is probably paused. We'll reallocate builders and jobs here in just a moment. Okay, the bad tide has begun. Let's cautiously see what's happening here. We know this is going to have a significant increase in outflow from this thing here. This is like a raging torrent. Oh, there's more berries up here. Yeah, see, this is already... Until this finds an equilibrium flow-wise, this is already threatening to overflow there. To my knowledge, there's not another drain on this side that would be a problem. Yeah, we just have to monitor the situation. I am very concerned about what this seep is going to do when it goes off in less than 2 days. But seeing that this hasn't breached the banks yet, we might barely be okay. Let's hit pause just to, you know, take some time to think. This is still got 8 days. I wonder if it's worth putting a staircase in here because eventually we do want to get to this water. We will want to get other stuff taken care of in here. I do think it's worth reminding people that there are not 2 aquifers here anymore. There's just the one because the one was deleted by the explosive, so we cannot put another one here. I think I saw somebody reference that, but if we manage to get this one hooked up, which wouldn't be completely impossible, I think that would be helpful. We've got this blocking off a seep, by the way. The big X factor is this bad water source, because the only way we can really, you know, neutralize those is to put either a... oh, it's a pressurizer. That's right, they changed the name. That is 4,000 science. That ain't happening. So the only real chance we have of, you know, stopping this from being a thing is to unlock overhangs, which also is going to cost a lot of science. Yeah, that'd be a couple thousand at least. And then, you know, put overhangs on top of these and then put in the impermeable floors to just pressurize it. I don't think we're doing that. I don't think we can. So, we have 4 extra beavers. We have 1 incapacitated, 1 vacancy. Why do we have a vacancy? Okay, there's nobody. Oh, the vacancy is the farm upstate. Let's pause that. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got 4 unemployed beavers. We have 4 builders. I can, you know what actually it would be smart for me to do is not plant any trees here because they're not going to be watered until minimum 9 days. Get these 3 lumberjack flags active so we can cut those. That's going to take me down to 1 extra beaver. No, it's going to equalize it. Okay. Well, that's, I guess, okay. But as soon as this is accessible, I will need to dial back the builders. And then need to make a decision about what I'm doing with farms. Because we know this isn't going to be, you know, irrigated for a long time. So why don't we put a farmhouse right outside the area of influence of all this irrigation? Right here. It might not be the best spot for it, realistically, but it's going to give us good coverage. I'll put it here because that's the crossroads right there. That will allow us to get more of this taken care of, I guess. I'd love to have corn. I really would. But again, 300 science. We also have to have metal blocks. We have to have 10 to build a food factory. I mean, once we have that, corn is great because you can have, without worrying about canola, you can have 5 times what you put in. And 1 tile in, I think, 10 days? Yeah, it gives you 2. So 1 tile, average of 5 days, one corn yield per tile per 5 days gives you 5, what's the term? 5 rations. So 1 tile per 1 day, 1 ration. All averaged out. That's a lot easier than than this. But for now, we can't do anything about it. So, cassava, a little bit of kohlrabi to keep things, you know, humming along. While we do have this extra irrigation, just makes sense. So I will plant here. Probably about the best I can do. I want to keep this open for putting other buildings in. But that seems like about the best we can really do, honestly. We really need to get this campfire built. Enough's enough. I actually should not super prioritize that because this needs to be done first. But I need them to get this finished so we can get to the rest of this water. That's really going to help us out because that's like half of a cycle worth of water for 14 beavers, 15 beavers. Get this rolling along. More cassava harvested. This does need to be taken care of, but the campfire should have been done like 3 episodes ago, and that was absolutely my fault. Alright. Now we have water. Thankfully. That is a big, big thing to celebrate right there. That helps a lot. Now that we have almost this farmhouse complete, we'll need to get the other barracks up. That's really going to help our well-being. Get these guys back in science mode once these things are taken care of. And then, folks, we're going to be a lot better off than you may think. While simultaneously being a lot worse off than you may think. But we're not dead yet. Never count the beavers out. Alright, so that unstable core is going to go off right at dawn here. 8 days remaining. And can't really do anything about that. Okay, this 119 days is the one that's underneath here. We already knew that. This bad water seep could cause issues, but seeps usually don't have that much strength to them. Usually. I think we're going to be fine. Now, this right now obviously is completely bad water. We don't have to worry about that. But it may be time now, as we are getting more and more of these logs in, to make a concerted effort at connecting this aquifer drill directly to this. So it's going to be pretty easy. Note that I did not say extremely easy. It's going to be pretty easy to route this through here and then around the backside using mostly just normal power shafts, 1 log per. I could start getting vertical power shafts, but I feel like right now that's not a great use of science versus just building stairs to get over power shafts. So why don't we do this? Let's make a detour around here, and then let's start putting in stairs, because what we're going to need to do is create a way for power to get down underneath this. And another thing that we can do to, you know, make a little bit better use of the space, I forgot that all of these buildings communicate power. Oh, yes. Okay, that is huge. That is embarrassing that I didn't remember that. Oh, ye of little faith. Is this one? Okay, no, that one's got 40%. That's not ideal. I just had a beautiful idea. This is not any progress on it whatsoever. If I remove this, and I'm going to have another barracks anyway, and everything communicates power, then guess what? I can put in a barracks right here that's going to have this taken care of to a tremendous degree. And that will mean that I don't have to build other stuff through here, and I can just have that be load bearing. Or what I could do, honestly, probably the better thing to do would just be to put this barracks here, and then have this power shaft come out the side here. That'll be fine. I don't need this to go around the outside. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's just make this as easy as possible. Just have this go around to about here. I know I can get this cleaned up, because if this is connected here, I can take this out. I can take this out. I can plant more stuff that is actually, you know, super important to have over here. And then I can maintain access from the forester to this area. I will probably, because of the way this is set up, have to put a staircase here and here to get over. But that is not going to be a super difficult task. Now that I know I'm putting barracks there, I do still need to put in a lumber mill, which probably... Yeah, see, that's not going to work here because I don't want to get rid of that. I can't access... I really shouldn't be this anal retentive about what goes where. Really should not, but... You know how it goes. You know how it goes. I just have to get it done. Let them do what they got to do. Let them build it, etc. We do have water here. That's good. Food was my bigger concern. Yeah, see, this got drained down, and now these are all dying, which it's regrettable. But this can still help. Can still help planting. This one should probably be set to harvesting, because it's closer. This one can just be taken down to 1. I've still got 2 workers there. That's fine. I do need to have more stuff done, but I'm going to let the builders probably do most of what they're trying to do here. Barracks are obviously important. We got to keep the beavers happy. Got plenty of water in here. This has full fermented cassava. This has no cassava left to ferment, but there is other cassava. They got storage there for that. It probably doesn't need to stay there. Is it in... Come on, autosave. Is it in the farm? Yes, okay. Hauling post probably needs to be next, but I don't have any planks. The planks have to come from this, which probably needs to be next. Yeah, probably. I mean, I hate to just continually punt things, but this is probably just a little bit more important. Just a tiny bit. We have 7 days to get the rest of this completed. Obviously, I can't do any more with the platforms or the stairs until I have planks. And I need planks so I can keep making more and more of this stuff. I would really like to have a more direct path between here and here. Maybe I should take this thorn out. I'm not going to do that yet. I will deprioritize it. Especially since everything's dead. Doesn't matter anyway. This will be buildable. And oh. Okay, that thing activated. It activated, and now we have a lot more bad water. As long as it doesn't overflow. I'm hoping that was just a temporary overflow. Because now there's even more of this that's going to be unusable. Oh, come on, just hold for me. Hold for me. Can you do that? Can you not overtop the banks, please, and thank you. I'm going to pause these 2 pumps because I don't want any more of this pumped out. We already have only 2/3 of it left for 6.5 days. I really need that to stay. This is definitely overflowing. That's a huge problem. Okay, this is already going down here. This is already bad. This can actually go off the map. So it may be best for us to demolish this natural dam if this continues creeping further toward here. Because that's going to allow more of this to escape down there. It's already basically forsaken, and I know that's going to pollute everything above it. But it doesn't go above our... It doesn't go under our farmland over here. It just, you know, is all of this mess. I really don't want to... I really don't want to get rid of this, but if this starts creeping, we're going to have an emergency task force. We're going to have to. Okay, we're making planks. That is very important. We do need planks so we can do the rest of this. I need them to finish that. They're working on it. We are harvesting cassava. We have about 6.5 days until we get more berries. We still have 1 kit, somehow. The rest of this is working. I probably need to get the rest of these trees cut down before I get rid of these guys, and then I know we have others without needing to plant. There's still plenty to harvest over here. So far, this is holding enough. It's holding enough. I think the bigger problem is going to be, yeah, before it even gets here, it's having issues with this. The natural dams here are probably what's causing the issues, I think. I don't know that there's any detriment to removing these at this point because we can't really protect anything anyhow. We'll need to continue monitoring the situation, but I believe it's not as bad as we might have suspected it would be. Slowly, taking baby steps. I don't think this cassava is going to be that big of a deal to have another storage right here. I probably want to get rid of this so I can have a couple more plants that I know are going to survive. Just really missing the irrigation lodges that the water beavers have that also have the contamination repelling. I really miss that right about now. Okay. Deep breaths, beavers. Well, that is a little bit of a load off my back that this wasn't as bad as I feared it might be. Still not great, let's be perfectly clear. It's still not very good. But it could always be worse. We've been through enough at this point where I don't know that we really need to be worried about things being truly terrible for a while. But I do want to take some steps as soon as we can to, you know, neutralize more of this. We'll get there. If we have a drought, an extended drought, which, hey, it's hard mode, we might be able to get back in there, and we might actually do okay. But if we can take the next 5.5 days and get this whole thing connected up here, that's really going to take a lot off our backs. And especially get more of this connected up here. Remember, we still have like another 117 days. That's plenty of time. Plenty of time. And now I've got housing for everybody. The well-being is going up, kind of. Okay, this is now connected there. That means I don't need... That was not the right button. There we go. Don't need that. Let's get that connected with a power shaft. Get these connected now that I have planks. We're almost to the point where I don't need these guys anymore. And I'll tell you what I will go ahead and do. At risk of possibly making a mistake. I don't think it's that much of a mistake, though. Gonna get rid of... I didn't need to get rid of that one. That was stupid. Anyway. Just trying to get as much of this done as I can. This is going to let us plant a bunch more stuff. I don't think it needs to be berries because this should be fine, but knowing that this is ideally going to remain a viable thing for us for a while. We do have the option of planting trees from which we can harvest wood. Mangroves... I don't want to commit to planting mangroves down here because they're going to be flooded, ideally, if we have this going all the time. The shallower areas, we don't really have enough to bother with planting mangroves. Coffee bushes are a luxury. Blueberries we already talked about. I don't think I need more than this for right now. Pine trees in 12 days give you 2 logs, which seems like a slightly better proposition to just have a decent amount of pine trees available here. So, and also we'll get resin from them, such a time as we might need that. I just feel like the 12 days versus 7 for the birch is probably just a little bit better. Just need to make sure that's going to be a staircase, that's going to be a staircase, this is going to be over. It's not really going to make that big of a difference. Let's just plant these. Get those planted as pine trees. Send a beaver into the forester now to get that taken care of because this is always going to be irrigated. Wait a second. No, no, no. Hold on. Hold on. Because I just complained about this. About why I was having problems with the water pumps not having good access to stuff. I need to decide if I'm going to put water pumps. I don't think I need to put water pumps here. What might actually make sense is instead unplanting these. Okay, that was just planted. I'm not going to cry any tears over that. I might as well just put another water pump here and then move the farmhouse because I'm going to move this reserve warehouse. This is plantable space. This guy can actually handle everything, so that is going to allow us a little bit more space. If this is going to be polluted for a while, moving the path down here would... Well, if it went all the way to here, and we got rid of that, that would grant us another 3 spots. I don't think it needs to be that big of a deal. But we can easily move this farmhouse to here or here. Here would be fine. Not perfect, but it would be fine. Getting that moved there would allow us to have every plantable space, at least for right now, every plantable space planted, with the exception of where that's going to go. Just have that set up like that. I think that's the orientation I want. Yeah, that's going to be fine. Having a third pump here, I think, makes a lot more sense than trying to put something up there. Anyway, I was just trying to think about what might be best. Not always able to do everything perfectly. Just do our best. All right. Why does this one have less of a... Okay, whatever. Oh, the metal parts warehouse is inaccessible. Okay, well, I don't need metal parts right now. We will at some point. Probably should start getting rid of these thorns here so I can get this built on, because we're going to need more than 400 power. 30 planks and 50 logs, not that big of a deal. We're definitely going to want this to be going all the time. I think that's about the best I can do. Just a few more of these trees can even be cut down. Thank you, autosave. They are marked. Let's just blast through this. Best that we can. Get that up and running. Right now I don't need this second farmhouse because this is not ready to harvest. Okay, this guy says he has nothing to do. Thank you, mute button, for saving the listeners from sneezing. Got pine trees planted. Maybe I should have rotated this and built it the other way, but the way that we had this set up before was basically necessitating that we did it the way that we were doing it. All right, I would like to get all of these trees if I can possibly help it. There's only a couple left, and we still have 4 days. That's not bad. It is going to be time for us to start harvesting these over here. But we've got pines that are kind of accessible, except not really. Let's see how far we can... Yeah, okay. Okay. This might be far away. Oh, hey. Remember these? The succulents? Get a whole drop of water out of it. What a deal. Let's just get those all marked. Okay, and also there's berries over there. This guy is done. This guy, I think, only has like 2 more trees you can reach, and then that's gonna be okay. Gonna be okay. We're working on planks. I need to have another, what, like 14, 16? We're getting there. We are getting there. If I really wanted logs that desperately, I could go ahead and get rid of these, which, you know what? We're not going to have this for a long time, so let's just lay that all down and pick those up. I'm not going to build stairs down here to get 15 logs. I don't think we're that desperate. To be clear, we are at least a little desperate, but we're not that desperate. Okay. Now, let's take this out. This guy's done. Goodbye. Go do something else. I need to build a staircase, and then a staircase, and then a platform, and then a path, and then I need to connect. And that is going to get this with minimal disruption to arable space. Once we have enough water in here, can have a little bit more planted, and they do have access to this other side. Minimal disruption what we have going on. I did not think they'd have that finished that quickly. Okay, boys and girls. Because now we can have 800 HP. Love to see it. Love to see it. But what I'm going to do here is actually not build that there. I'm going to get rid of this thorn here, and I'm going to put the gear workshop in this gap. And then maybe another fermenter right here. I don't think we really need the capacity for it yet, but that is going to be an option for us. Now, my 18 flooded buildings, I think I know what that's about. That seems to be... We know we have those, but there was this other area that was going to become full the last time we checked. I cannot remember where it was. There's just so many things. I guess I just keep clicking on this. Yeah, it was all this. That was going to be... Wow, that is completely slam full. Look at that. All of this. All this. Well, eventually we're going to get that shut off. We're going to be able to hopefully conquer more of the map. Alright, is this fully connected? Not quite. Not quite. We're getting there, though. We are making some pretty decent progress. Actually, you know what? I should have rerouted this path around the outside. I really should have done that. You know, hindsight's 20/20, so on and so forth. But we somehow have managed to avoid complete annihilation. I honestly am still not entirely sure how that happened. But I feel like, you know, all hope is not lost. It's definitely pretty rough, but all hope is not lost, folks. I do think, we're over an hour now. That's not ideal. It's probably going to need to be... Do I want to block all of this off? This can't be that much current. Probably should focus more on closing these sources. And most importantly, dealing with this. Oh, so much to think about. This coming from here is... That's a door. There's so many sources. There's so many sources up here. Got to find a way. Got to find a way to do it. But at least, like, right around here, I don't think is quite such a big deal. Let's, since we're thinking about it, let's make a concerted effort to figure out what we're going to do about this. Is it still dormant? Could activate at any time. But we're starting to get materials up, so why don't we get this set up in place. Save myself a little bit of materials by just popping that in like that. That'll stop that. And all I have to do to be able to utilize this is get a staircase. First of all, I have to make sure I'm not going to get poisoned doing this. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I just need to come in here. I'm going to need my platforms. Oh, see, that would require 2 minimum. Maybe more than that. Can't go on a building. Do I want to research? No. All right. I'll tell you what. Let's get these guys back in the lab, so to speak, if they have the ability and the time. I think this is all connected. Yeah. It's already minimum priority, but I think I can safely take this down to 2 builders. And then I can probably don't want to pump now, but I want to have that in reserve ready to go. I've got beavers over here taking these trees down. We are, aside from, you know, planting these pines and letting those grow up, we are going to want to have a strategy for getting things cut elsewhere. I think we can probably leave this alone for now, because that's reasonably accessible and we're not hurting for wood. But I want to get this. I feel like this is going to be a big mistake if I don't. What if I came up here and I did that? Yeah, so that's still going to require another 2, 4, 5 platforms. That's 30 planks. 36. This is like 50 or 60 planks just to get this taken care of without it being a whole deal. Yeah, and the science cost probably isn't worth worrying about. Oh, is there going to be any faster way? Because I know they can't, you know, do anything with this yet. Okay, I spent time complaining about this. If I go down here, that's 2 platforms. And that brings me to here, which is definitely 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, this is objectively worse. Let's not go this way. Now, I know when they get up here, they're still going to have to take stairs down. We know this is a thing. But this... there's probably a better way to do it. Probably a better way to do it. Or at least a slightly cheaper way, but... That's what I got, folks. So this is really important. We don't allow this to go off and fill up this this thing here, because I think this would be a good irrigation station. So we gotta protect it. Gotta protect it. Don't want to connect to here though. It's just it's gonna really not be great to use all those planks on that, but it's really important that this can't be allowed to be a problem. Okay. Okay, where we are, we have 312 water. Oh, we have the statistics, kind of. It's not going to tell us what's using what, but I forgot 1.1 does that. This is a 1.1 playthrough, by the way. If we ever get to the cool stuff, we can use these mechanical pumps and probably to great advantage on this map. Oh, this episode's too long. Well, probably most of the people that, you know, got real angry at this aren't watching anymore, so I assume the people who are left are the ones who actually care enough to... make insightful comments. Let's get this deep water pump put in before we need it. Before all of our logs get sucked into building this. This is... Did I prioritize that? No, I did not. Okay, good. But they're going to do the disassembly, demolition last anyway, so let's get that reprioritized. How are we doing on well-being? Okay, that's all looking okay. Wet fur is a luxury. We'll put a shower in. Do I... Actually, I shouldn't promise that. Nope, don't have those researched. Campfire, rooftop terrace. If I had a rooftop upon which to terrace, could do that. We will get there. That's at 79%. We got 1 day left. We managed not to overflow, which is great. This will dry out eventually, and then that means we can get into this water, which, you know, maybe not the most important thing, but we probably at some point should get this hooked up as well. If this is always going to be poisoned, then it would be to our advantage to get a power shaft run over here at some point. Not a huge priority. Oh, I remember what I was going to do. I was going to leave... Well, it's going to take long enough for that to be a thing. Let's unplant these. Because I do want to have 2 of these aquifer drills ready to go. So I know I can build that. I'm going to massively deprioritize. Oh, metal blocks. Alright, well, let's just keep that as a, you know, it sure would be nice kind of thing. Because I know I'm going to have, to make a smelter, I have to have 30 scrap metal, which I do not have, but there is scrap metal available. We just have to unlock... No, this is unlocked by default now. That was, I think, a 1.0 thing. Oh, we're going to need to have the vertical power shaft. But now... Oh, that was fast. Cycle 6. Cycle 6. And guess what? That means this is now operating. That is fantastic. Fantastic. Let's take advantage of all of the power available to us by putting this gear workshop in. Oh, I say right as I condemned a substantial quantity of planks to be used for this. Wait a second. I'm going to choose, based on how this series has gone so far, to make absolutely no claims about being prescient or gloating or anything like that. However, comma, I'm glad we started this. Oh, that could have been so much worse. Okay, the drain has shut off, which means this level's down, which means this should be slightly less contaminated. And I have slightly more cassava I can plant. This is already staffed. I've got one extra beaver. That one beaver is probably going to be working in this gear workshop by the time this is finished. But we are making power. We are getting more clean water here. This one's not quite finished. I've got planks that are being made. Not actually that slowly. Yes, my beavers. Please and thank you. Get us access here so I don't have to worry about that. That's going to be so great. And we are... Oh, look at this. We're about to have berries again. I am so glad that this has gone the way that it has gone, because, you know, at the very least, I think it's been entertaining, if frustrating. But, yeah. I feel not great about what we did in today's video, but I feel a whole lot better about this playthrough as a whole. And I hope you do too. So, thank you for being here. Beard Boosters support the channel. You already know. You've seen a billion of these videos, or maybe you haven't, but they are the folks who allow me to continue doing this exactly the same way we've always done it. Again, whether or not that's ideal is up to you to decide, but I like doing this way. The vast majority of people who watch these videos like that we do this way. We don't have any sponsors. We don't have any brain rot edits or cut anything out. I show you the whole process, warts and all, and boy, have there been a lot of warts in this one. But authenticity is important to me. I trust it's important to you. And I hope whatever you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back again soon for more beavers. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.